At 92, Shirley MacLaine may have stepped away from the constant glare of Hollywood, but her legacy remains as powerful as ever. Now, a rare new video message is giving fans an intimate glimpse into the memories of one of the most remarkable careers in entertainment history. The occasion was a special screening of Sweet Charity at the Southampton Playhouse. And although Shirley couldn't be there in person, she found a way to be part of the celebration. "Hi, Southampton Playhouse. Wish I could be with you. I would like to see Sweet Charity again," Shirley said in the video. Her message was short, but it immediately transported fans back to a different era of Hollywood, when she was one of the industry's biggest stars and one of the most recognizable performers of her generation.
For longtime fans, hearing Shirley talk about Sweet Charity is a reminder of just how much history is attached to that movie. Released in 1969, the film was adapted from the Broadway musical and featured Shirley in the title role of Charity Hope Valentine. The character was a hopeful and vulnerable woman whose dreams of finding love continued despite the disappointments she experienced along the way. Shirley brought an enormous amount of personality to the role. Charity was funny, emotional, optimistic, and imperfect, allowing Shirley to combine her dramatic abilities with her talent for comedy and musical performance. The role required tremendous energy, and Shirley recently reminded viewers that the movie was far more demanding to make than audiences might realize. "Now, while you're watching it, remember how hard we worked," she told the audience. That comment gives fans a fascinating look behind the scenes. What audiences see on screen is polished and entertaining, but creating a large Hollywood musical required long hours of rehearsals, choreography, filming, and preparation. And Shirley wasn't afraid to be completely honest about what happened after the movie was released. Instead of pretending that Sweet Charity had been an enormous commercial success, she joked about its original box office performance. "Between you and me, it didn't do very well," she said with a laugh. Then came her playful message to the audience. "So I hope you guys like it." It was classic Shirley, warm, self-aware, and completely comfortable looking back at both the successes and disappointments of her career. The film may not have performed as strongly as expected at the box office, but its place in Shirley's career has remained important. Sometimes a movie's initial commercial performance doesn't determine its long-term cultural value. Over time, audiences can rediscover films, appreciate performances differently, and develop a deeper connection with stories that may not have received the recognition they deserved when they were first released. For Shirley, Sweet Charity became one of those unforgettable chapters. More than 5 decades after the movie reached theaters, people were still gathering to watch it on the big screen. That alone says something about the lasting appeal of the film and the performer at its center. But Sweet Charity was only one part of Shirley MacLaine's extraordinary Hollywood journey. Over the course of her career, she became one of the most respected actresses of her generation. Her performances demonstrated an unusual ability to move between comedy, drama, romance, and emotionally complex characters. Her talent eventually earned her an Academy Award, cementing her status as one of Hollywood's most celebrated performers. Yet, Shirley's career wasn't defined by one award or one famous movie. It was defined by decades of work and by her willingness to keep evolving. That willingness to evolve remained visible even late in her career. Shirley continued appearing on screen long after many performers from her generation had retired. Her most recent on-screen appearance came in 2022, when she joined the cast of Only Murders in the Building for a 2-episode storyline. The popular mystery comedy series gave viewers another opportunity to see the legendary actress in action. Shirley played Leonora Folger, the mother of Bunny Folger. Her character arrives with confidence and determination, immediately becoming part of the show's mystery-filled world. Her appearance on Only Murders in the Building was relatively small compared with the enormous number of roles Shirley has played throughout her career, but her presence immediately stood out. It was another reminder that even after decades in the industry, Shirley could still walk onto a set and command attention. Interestingly, Shirley had already begun questioning the idea of retirement several years earlier. During a 2016 interview with Entertainment Tonight, she discussed the possibility of stepping away from acting. But her thoughts weren't simply about whether she still wanted to work. Instead, Shirley was thinking about what kind of work was meaningful to her. She explained that she had started wondering whether she wanted to retire at all. The idea had never really occurred to her before, but changes happening in the world had caused her to reconsider how she wanted to spend her time and energy. She questioned whether dedicating herself to another movie was necessarily the most important or fulfilling thing she could be doing. For someone who had spent so many decades working in Hollywood, that was a surprisingly thoughtful perspective. Shirley had already experienced almost everything the entertainment industry could offer. She knew the excitement of success, the pressure of production, the attention of the media, the disappointment of projects that didn't perform as expected, and the satisfaction of creating performances that audiences remembered. At a certain point, the question wasn't whether she could continue acting. It was whether acting was still where she wanted to place her energy. That perspective makes her recent message about Sweet Charity even more meaningful. She wasn't announcing a major comeback or suggesting that she was returning to a busy Hollywood schedule. Instead, she was simply reconnecting with something from her past. She wanted to watch the movie again. She wanted fans to remember how hard everyone had worked, and she wanted them to enjoy the film, even though, as she openly admitted, it hadn't been a major box office success when it was released. There is something incredibly charming about that honesty. Hollywood often celebrates success while quietly forgetting failure. Actors and studios love to talk about blockbuster movies, awards, record-breaking performances, and massive audiences. But Shirley's willingness to laugh about a movie that didn't perform well shows that she understands something many people eventually learn. One disappointing result doesn't erase the value of the work. A film can fail commercially and still become memorable. A performance can be overlooked initially and appreciated decades later. And a movie can become meaningful simply because audiences continue to return to it. That is exactly what happened with Sweet Charity. More than 50 years after its original release, people were still gathering at the Southampton Playhouse to watch Shirley's performance. The fact that she could send a message to that audience at the age of 92 makes the moment feel almost like a conversation between two different generations. The people watching the movie today are seeing a younger Shirley MacLaine on screen, but the woman speaking to them in the new video carries all the experiences of the decades that followed. On screen, Shirley is the energetic star of 1969. Off-screen, she is now a 92-year-old Hollywood legend, looking back at the work she created more than half a century ago. And somehow, both versions of Shirley exist at the same time. That's one of the extraordinary things about cinema. Actors age, productions disappear, theaters change, and decades pass. But the performances remain frozen in time. Every time someone watches an old movie, the actor returns to that moment. For Shirley MacLaine, Sweet Charity provides exactly that kind of connection. Her performance allows today's audiences to experience a piece of her career as it existed in 1969. The costumes, choreography, music, sets, and performances preserve a world that no longer exists in exactly the same way. But Shirley's work continues to communicate. Her career has always been about more than simply being famous. She brought personality, emotion, humor, and individuality to her performances. Those qualities helped distinguish her from countless other performers and allowed her to build a career that lasted for generations. Her journey also demonstrates how unpredictable Hollywood can be. A project can be expensive and ambitious and still struggle at the box office. A television appearance can become memorable decades after a film career begins. And a performer who once seemed to be everywhere can eventually choose to live much more privately. Shirley has experienced all of those stages. Now, rather than constantly seeking attention, she seems comfortable looking back at the moments that mattered to her. And perhaps that's why this simple message has resonated with fans. There was no elaborate production surrounding it. There was no major announcement. Shirley simply spoke to an audience that was about to watch one of her most recognizable films. Wish I could be with you. Those words may sound simple, but they carry a special emotional weight. She couldn't physically attend the screening, yet her voice became part of the evening. And when the lights went down and Sweet Charity began playing, Shirley was there, in the only way that truly matters for an actor. She was on the screen. She was performing. She was bringing Charity Hope Valentine back to life. At 92, Shirley MacLaine doesn't need another blockbuster to prove her importance. She doesn't need another award to validate her career. Her place in Hollywood history was secured decades ago. What remains now is the legacy, and that legacy lives in movies like Sweet Charity, in television appearances like Only Murders in the Building, and in the memories of generations of viewers who watched Shirley transform ordinary characters into unforgettable ones. Her recent message is a beautiful reminder that Hollywood history isn't only about the biggest box office successes. Sometimes it's about the people who gave everything they had to a project, even when the results weren't what everyone expected. Shirley remembers how hard they worked. She remembers the movie. She remembers that it didn't do very well. And she can laugh about it now. That's perhaps one of the most fitting ways for a legend like Shirley MacLaine to look back at her career, with honesty, humor, and affection. The years have passed, but the performance remains. And as long as audiences continue gathering to watch Sweet Charity, Shirley MacLaine will continue to return to the screen, reminding everyone why she became one of Hollywood's most unforgettable stars.